I'm joined now by Bradford Cohen and Saam Zangeneh, Nima Momeni's attorneys. Thank you both so much for being here. Saam, let me start with you. I see all these headlines that your client, Nima, is going to take the stand. That is a bold thing to say when trial hasn't even gotten underway.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, usually when you have a self-defense defense, that's something that's in the makeup. That's something that may be on the menu. Now, we're not going to tell you definitively if he's going to take the stand. I mean, it's going to be a game time decision, but I think that it's got more weight than it does not having weight.
Okay, Bradford, talk to me about this reenactment video. I'll just set the stage for the viewers. The state says that they've got video that they took of your client in a parking lot talking to, I think, his lawyer's assistants, reenacting 3 stab motions and then tossing the knife that they say does not show a man in self-defense, but shows a man intentionally killing someone.
There's a couple of things to that. Number one is I've never had a case. I've been practicing for 28 years. I've done, I don't even know how many trials. I've never had a case where they send an investigator to follow a defendant to his attorney's office and then film him speaking with his attorney's investigators and his attorney's employees in terms of what is going on, and they don't even have context of it. It could have been if they were asking him what Bob Lee did. It could have been they were asking him for some other kind of reenactment in terms of what occurred that evening or what occurred evenings before. The long story short is it's really invading into attorney-client privilege because it's putting the onus on the defense now to have the defense say, hey, I'm going to explain what my lawyer's employees told me to reenact or told me to do. And now it puts the onus on the defense. So I think it's number one is it's pretty shady of a state attorney's office to send an investigator to follow an individual to his attorney's office. I mean, what would be next? That they would film him through the window of his attorney's office and see what they're
saying? I hear you. You're a great lawyer, but I will challenge you a little here.
Sure.
It was in a parking lot. That's a public space. He was not a defendant. He hadn't been arrested. And I have seen plenty of cases where police surveil people they plan to arrest. So that goes out the window, what you said about that. Number 2, context, sure, that's where the trial comes in. They've got the video. Your guy's going to have to explain it. I am curious, though, and Saam, maybe you can jump in here, too, about the text messages. Those are pretty strong stuff. And I know in a murder case that nobody has to prove motive. You don't have to defend motive, and the prosecutor sure don't have to prove motive. But boy, do the jurors want motive. And that sure looks like motive.
Sure. Well, here's the thing, Ashleigh. What we're missing here is what the prosecution's not showing you, right? They show you blurbs. They show you snippets of conversations. But when you pull back and you see the entire conversations and you see actually what's transpiring and the actual conversations that are taking place, it's a completely different picture. It really is.
Okay.
What they're doing is they're highlighting little blurbs and they're giving it to you guys as sound bites.
And you will see that in many cases. You know, whenever you get something from the defense or the state, you have to look at it through kind of like different glasses, right? The defense is going to show you everything that is great for the defense. The state's going to show you everything that's great for the state. The issue becomes that those little blurbs that they give you is part of a larger conversation. And then when you pull back and see the larger conversation, you see some of those issues are taken out of context.
Right. And Ashleigh, let me tell you, the night that the incident took place, right before Bob goes over to Khazar's apartment, Nima sends him a text message thanking him for helping him the day before. And then Bob asks him if he wants to go to a strip club with him. They didn't tell you that, did they? They leave out a lot of stuff.
No, but and I'm curious to see how that plays out at trial, because that's before Nima calls in tears saying, you know, this naked business is happening. I can see there's a lot of rage. No,
Ashleigh, you're wrong.
It's after? Okay,
yeah,
good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Real quickly, guys, I only have a minute left, and it's not even a minute at this point. Bradford, I'll get you to jump in on this. The knife is damning, right? The DNA of your client is on the handle. The DNA of the murder victim is on the blade. How do you get over that?
You know, when it comes to DNA, and we just walked a guy on a DNA case in Tampa, but when it comes to DNA, there are types of DNA. There are different issues with DNA.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.